Hi everyone, it's Miss Long again. Today we are working with the EQ of how can I determine if I'm solving for area or perimeter in a word problem. Remember for area or A, oops, let me switch to my marker. For A, it stands for area and we're talking about the inside space of a shape. So we're talking about those square units inside. For P or for perimeter, we are talking about the outside of the shape. So it's going around the outside. So again, think about my example I've used in the classroom. If we're looking at our chalkboard in the classroom, if I want to know the area of that shape, I'm really looking about the black part of the chalkboard. If I'm talking about the perimeter of the shape, I'm looking at the silver edging around the outside. So we're going to look at 3 different types of word problems that you might see, and we're going to just talk about strategies that we can use to solve. So I'm going to go ahead and just put some graph paper in here so that we have that graph paper to use. And now we're ready to get started. So just think about it like this. We all know that a word problem should be read at least 2 times. So that's what I'm going to do. A piece of plywood was cut so its length was 8 feet by 4 feet. That should say feet, not. What is the area of the wood? So I'm going to read it again, and this time I'm going to highlight the important information. A piece of plywood was cut so its length was 8 feet by 4 feet. What is the area of the wood? So I want to know the area. So there's no model on this paper drawn. There's no example, nothing on this paper. So what all of us should start doing, we should automatically start drawing the shape on our papers. It's either going to be a square or a rectangle. My measurements are 8 feet by 4 feet, so I know it's not going to be a square because a square has to have 4 equal sides. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my rectangle. 8 feet by 4 feet. And we have discussed how it doesn't matter if we flip the 8 and the 4, but it makes more sense that our longer side is 8 and the shorter side is 4. Now, if I was modeling on the graph paper, it's the same thing. 8 square units by 4 square units. And we know to finish closing that in. So if the top is 8, the bottom is 8, the left is 4, the right is 4. Now we're determining area, so I'm talking about the inside of the shape. So I want to know how many square units are on the inside. So all I have to do is count. I can also find area by multiplying 8 times 4. So if you were to count those square units on the inside or multiply 8 times 4, you're going to get your area. And 8 times 4 is 32. So A equals 32. Let's go ahead and look at the next type of problem you might see. Again, we're going to read it twice because it is a word problem. The first time we're reading to understand what's happening in the problem. The second time we're really paying attention to those numbers, the question, all of those good juicy details in the problem. Problem 2. Jill is building a fence for her yard. Her yard is 3 feet by 5 feet. How much fencing does Jill need to buy? Now, this problem doesn't specifically ask you if we're solving for area or perimeter, so we need to think about what the problem's asking. So Jill is building a fence for her yard. Her yard is 3 feet by 5 feet. The question's asking, how much fencing does Jill need to buy? Again, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is draw my model. I know it's a rectangle because it's 3 feet by 5 feet. They're not the same number, so it's not a square. I'm going to go ahead and fill in my sides. If I know the top is 5, the left is 5. If the top is 5, the bottom's 5. If the left is 3, the right is 3. Now it's asking how much fencing Jill needs. And we know that she's putting up a fence. So does a fence does a fence cover the inside of the yard, or do we put a fence along the outside of the yard? Think about our school playground. The fence goes along the outside of the yard. So if we're talking about the outside, we're talking about P, perimeter. And all we have to do to find perimeter is add the side lengths. 5 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3. 5 plus 5 is 10. 3 plus 3 is 6. 10 plus 6 is 16. So P equals 16. One more type of problem we might see. Again, a word problem, so we're going to read it twice. Miss Long's folder has a perimeter of 38 inches. If the length of the folder is 11 inches, what is the width? Now, this problem, again, doesn't specifically ask for the area or the perimeter. So we have to read it again and then draw our models. Miss Long's folder has a perimeter of 38 inches. If the length of the folder is 11, what is the width of the folder? So the question's asking, what is the width of the folder, not for area or perimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my model. Well, I'm going to make it look like a folder. We know folders are tall. All right, so we know that P equals 38. So P is the outside. So if I were to add up all of my outside numbers, it's going to equal 38. I know the length is 11. What is the width? So I'm missing the W, the width. Now, if I know this side is 11, the other side is 11. If the top is W, the bottom is W. We know that when we are giving a variable like this, we need to solve for that missing number. And we have learned about this in the past, but there's 3 steps we need to take. Step 1, add the 2 sides that we know. 11 plus 11, 22. Step 2, take the perimeter, which we were given, subtract our total, equals 16. Step 3, we're going to take our answer, our difference, and divide it by 2 because we're sharing that difference between the top and the bottom. And once you do 16 divided by 2, you will get your answer of 8. So we know that W equals 8. So what is the width of the folder? The width is 8. If you have any more questions, reach out to Miss Long and she'll be able to help you. Bye, guys. Have a great day.